91X.
All right, please welcome to our fabulous festival Flophouse, Kate Nash, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Oh,
I dropped my microphone.
Thank you.
Microphone.
I appreciate that.
You do? Okay, good. This is more than special for me because you've been probably the most, I don't want to say controversial, because what you're doing is not really controversial.
Yeah.
You're just doing the truth, if
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Truth is controversial.
It is, because you're... do you understand how people are kind of, why they're reacting to this? Because you're basically like, no, you're wrong, this is the way it's supposed to be. Because they don't expect it from English ladies, do they?
They don't, do they?
So
Why not?
where did this come from? Where did the inspiration, where did you go, I've got to do this the right way, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to become what people want me to become?
Probably my mum, honestly. Like growing up in, I have two sisters, and my mum and dad raised us really well. And my mum is like a very strong woman, and she's just brutally honest and kind of brought us up to like understand being honest and truthful and being strong. And so I think I've just kind of always been really stubborn about that and really opinionated. And I don't like being told what to do, because I'm a stubborn redhead middle child.
Right.
And I think when I got into the music industry and kind of was exposed to like stuff that I didn't like, it just made me, you know,
question it.
Yeah, and I think that like I've always personally, I got really into punk music when I was like 16, and I think there's like a lot of power in doing something truthful and creating waves and standing up for things rather than doing, even though it's easier to just go along with everything and kind of.
It's way easier to go along. It's easy to go with the flow, but when you're going out against the current, even though the current you know is wrong.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time was there another artist that you grew up loving that they did this and you were like, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this? And
I think I just got like, I think it really was like when I got into the Buzzcocks and I got into like Kathleen Hanna and Bikini Kill and Riot Girl and stuff, that really inspired me, and seeing people do things that were like really brave and kind of crazy. And then I've always just like, I mean, I grew up like as a kid loving like pop music and loving the Spice Girls,
but I think Buzzcocks one of the best pop bands in the world.
Yeah, they are.
It's just the way they did it.
Yeah, it's just simple, and that's when I realized that like
Undertones, Buzzcocks. I mean, there's a whole bunch of bands. Adverts,
like, I got really into British punk, and it's just pop music, really simple. And
who turned you onto those records? Because you're way younger than I am, and I was a kid when those came out.
Well, I was working in like a kind of rubbish clothes store in the UK, and then all my friends got into college and I didn't, and I had a heart condition and I had this like heart surgery, and I was just like, what's happening in my life? I'm working a rubbish job, and I worked hard at school, and I thought I was going to be able to like progress more than this, and I just got really into music, and I walked past a record shop, and there was a Buzzcocks Singles Going Steady album, and I like recognized the cover because it's a really famous cover, and I was like in a phase where I just was like buying records that I recognized that I didn't know anything about, and I just fell in love with Singles Going Steady. And I went to there's a market in London, Spitalfields Market, that has all like vinyl and records for sale on like Wednesdays or something, and I went down there and I said to this guy, I was like, I know I really like punk music, but I don't really know anything about it. I just know like the Sex Pistols and the Buzzcocks. And I was like, can you educate me? And he just gave me like this compilation called Bored Teenagers. And I got into all these like rare, weird British punk singles and bands. And then from there I went into like American punk and just kind of explored that. And
American punk is so... Well, it depends where it comes from.
It does depend where it
really depends where it comes from.
It really does. But the Riot Girl American punk stuff was really raw. And that's what I've always kind of loved, is like raw performances and raw, like...
Because the Riot Girl stuff is almost, at this point, almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't want to say you brought it back, because you're doing it with such a different flair that most people haven't quite figured it out yet. Okay. But that's what you're doing. Yeah. It's almost, and I want to say they view it as a Spice Girl version of it, but you've like taken this approach, I'm going to be different. Yeah. But I'm still going to get through. But, you know, to me, you're almost Billy Braggish in a way.
I love Billy Bragg.
Good. I'm glad you do, because a lot of people can't stand him.
Oh no, I love
because
Billy.
he's just, and he's not the greatest singer in the world, but he means everything he says.
Yeah, he does.
And you also remind me of a cross between what Billy does and what PJ Harvey does as well, because she's brutally honest about stuff. And same thing, grew up with parents that booked all the gigs in her hometown, so every artist was staying at her parents' house.
Wow.
So she grew up around it.
That's so cool.
So your mom, obviously, biggest influence then.
Yeah, not even. I mean, I'm lucky. My parents had great taste in music. I grew up with like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Johnny Cash and Janis Joplin and stuff like that. But they weren't like particularly musical or anything. They're just like very loving and supportive of me and my sisters. So we were encouraged to kind of do what we wanted to do and explore things we wanted to explore. So my mum was like never worried about me going into the arts, because she knows that I like work hard. And
what was your nickname at school?
God, what was my? We just like everyone would just Nash is like a
Nasha. Was it Nasha?
Nasha.
Yeah.
That annoyed me when I was growing up because of Dennis
now
the Menace.
You love it.
Nasha.
Right.
And then it was Nashbo, Nash.
Wasn't Dennis's dog was Nasha?
Yeah, Nasha. For some reason as a kid I hated that.
GN.
It's a GN, yeah.
Because he's
gnashing his teeth, yeah. Yeah.
So that was the nickname?
Yeah, Nash.
The one you didn't like. What was the nickname that you actually liked?
Oh, I don't think I had one. It was just different. Like as I got older, it just became like Nashanoid, Nash, the Nash, Kate Nashty. Just nasty.
It's funny hearing you say that for some reason. I don't know why. What are you expecting this weekend? Are there bands you want to go see?
I actually
let me take a quick break. We're gonna do a quick break so these guys can shut the stuff off.
Okay.
We'll be back with Kate Nash in a couple seconds. It
Kate
is 91X.
Nashty.
Kate Nashty. Kate the Nashty. It's 91X. All right, we're back with Kate the Nashty. First band you saw that blew your mind, and you said, "I got to go do this."
The first band I saw that blew my mind.
Whether it's on telly or in a club.
Well, I really was a huge Spice Girls fan when I was a little kid, and I remember videotaping their first performance on Top of the Pops, and I was just like, I watched it over and over and over again. So I like fell in love with like pop music as a kid, and then the first record that I heard that blew my mind was Janis Joplin. Mm-hmm. Mercedes-Benz. My mum like played it for me, and I was just like, it blew my mind because I was like, this is a woman's voice. I was like, that is crazy. And then I like got into Janis Joplin and her autobiography and stuff. And then the first like live show that really, really kind of struck me as something that was like, because I got into theatre, and so like a show that was more than just like live, it was like everything had been thought about, was Bjork. She kind of totally blew my mind with what a performance is and what music can be.
Have you met her yet?
I met her really briefly at a festival. It was like it was when she had all the girls on stage with her with like the Crazy and the machine that she was using. It was like a really brief meeting, so it wasn't like I didn't get to talk to her, but watching Bjork interviews is one of my favorite things to do on YouTube ever, because she's just so...
Did you watch the Sunday, what was that, the Sunday magazine show where she's like running through everything that she's ever done?
The way she speaks is just like, I love listening to her talk because it's so genuine and so smart, but so sweet, and just like, she is who she is.
She's like this little devil
she
with
just
this
happens.
really cute voice.
I'm
not going to do what you say.
I know, yeah.
And you're like, okay, you don't have to.
I love that. I love that, like, growing up as a kid, seeing like the swan dress and just hearing people being like, this is like the worst dress thing ever. And now as an adult, I'm like, she's so cool. She just does whatever she wants, and she's creative and fun. And she'll say like, why not have fun with what I do and be creative? And it's like, that's how I feel.
She's amazing. She's one of my favorite artists of all time.
Yeah.
Do you realize who you're now influencing? Have you kind of caught on to the fact that you're influencing other young ladies out there, and probably a lot of younger men as well, to get out there and do it? Yeah,
that's like my kind of manifesto in a way, is just to kind of inspire people to be able to be themselves. And I've definitely, as I've got older and more experienced, understood, appreciated, and respected the kind of power and influence that I have on people, and I want there to be more female musicians, so I always kind of rant about that. And I have like an all-girl band, and I have like girl bands and female artists opening up for us. So I love my fans are like the sweetest people ever. They're so passionate and they're so sweet, and like I just like kind of want to have a conversation with all of them. It takes a really long time to leave towns, especially because I'll just hang out with them.
Especially with unsocial media nowadays, how everybody can get a hold of you because you can actually read people's tweets and go, "Oh my god!"
I know. Yeah.
Did you try to answer some of them and get to the point?
I know my fans are like by name on Twitter and stuff, and like recognize them, and it is a weird world, but it's been really helpful, especially as an independent artist and getting dropped and being able to just communicate directly with them. It's a really powerful tool, and as long as, and there's obviously a million like negative things about it too, but I think that like,
a hater's gotta hate, as they say.
Haters gonna hate, but even it just kind of sucks you into this weird warp hole where you're not even living in reality.
Of course.
But
you're in essence what you're doing is everything that the Pistols, Buzzcocks, Clash, they're taking the stage and saying no. We're only on this, but you guys are on the same level as us.
Yeah.
It's just so you can see the bass player's feet.
Yeah, exactly.
But anybody can be in a band.
Anyone can do it.
Anyone can do this.
Do it. And obviously, it's like not everyone's gonna be successful and have a huge career, but being artistic and being musical and being able to express yourself can stop. Well, it stops me from going crazy.
Right. In a couple of weeks, I'm supposed to go interview. Boy George is going to come by the radio station, and he's like the other. I don't want to say flamboyant punk, but he really is.
Yeah.
Did everything completely radically different back in the day.
Yeah.
And he just got lumped into this category of, it's just culture clubs. Like, I think people missed the punk attitude that those guys had.
Yeah, and he's still doing.
Yeah, he is.
You know, sticking his middle finger up.
I'm dying to meet him for strange
I've
reasons.
met him.
He's
and
tall.
He's really lovely. Yeah, he's like
6'2". He's like as tall as I am.
Yeah,
he's scary. You didn't think that in those videos. He was just a little bit too. I don't know. But anyway, Kate Nash, thank you so much for swinging by.
Thank you for having me.
And it is 91X. You're amazing.
Thanks.